Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Right now, we basically have a 3-day range that has developed here throughout the week. The previous sessions, we finished with an inside day, 2-day narrow range, and this is pretty much what we expected Friday afternoon. At Friday afternoon, we mentioned looking out into next week, volatility could come down tremendously, especially after the previous 2 weeks of volatility, which were pretty significant. We noted that volatility would likely come down. Volume may come down even as we head closer to the holiday weekend. 4-day holiday week here, full in action right now, and not likely to really get that big push either way, especially ahead of Fed Chair Powell. Fed Chair Powell on deck later on this afternoon, 12:15 p.m. Central Time. Fed Chair Powell speaking there. That could provide a little bit of volatility heading into the afternoon, but for the most part, anticipating here that we stay within a 4-day compression heading into the weekend. Keep an eye right now on the previous 2-day lows here. We could be looking at a recovery and a push back up within the range. On an intraday basis right here, a little bit of an inverted head and shoulder style pattern right there. If bulls can keep 53.70 bid here, there's a shot to keep this thing going back toward 54.40 and higher. So looking for bulls to kind of keep this thing bid here on any pullbacks this morning, but for the most part still in range. The bigger volatility could come with Fed Chair Powell later on this afternoon. Looking at the NQ, here's the NQ right here. For the most part, 2-day compression the previous session, inside day, compressed range throughout the week. Here we got a little bit of a drop. NVIDIA news after hours push prices down here, but we did find a nice little strong low, double bottom, intraday low there. If you look at the intraday charts again, looks kind of like an inverted head and shoulder there. If bulls can keep that 18,600 bid, 18,650, that zone bid here on any pullback this morning, we could be looking at kind of a slingshot move up toward 19.1. 18,970 would be weekly VWAP, and then you have anything beyond 19.1. So right now, again, keeping things mostly within range here for the week, but volatility could increase here later on this afternoon with Fed Chair Powell. So right now, watching the previous session's low. If bulls can keep that early area bid here in the 18.6 zone, we could have a nice little squeeze ahead. All right, take a look here at crude oil. This one up 1% right now, 1.19%. A little bit of a failed low, a little bit of an outside day, a similar recovery here in overnight and pre-market trading. Still kind of compressed here over the last several days, but has done so on the right side after a significant strong day one rejection. We mentioned that's a big day one, and from now on, any pullback, even as deep as 54, could be bid as this thing starts to work its way up. At some point here, looking for this thing to see a snapback towards 72, and likely even beyond at some point down the road. So big time day one development here off the right edge. A little bit of an outside day developing here today. It could still be stuck in the range overall, but building energy for what is likely to be a squeeze ahead in the coming weeks. All right, looking at gold futures. Right now, gold up 2.5%. This thing continuing to push to new all-time highs. Today's all-time high, 33.34. 33.34. We're at the 50% extension here. From this key range right there, we got that midpoint very quickly and quickly went to the extreme. That's very bullish. We've now exploded to the upside and are now just around the corner from getting the 100% target. We talked about 34.3280. That's the 100% target of that impulse move. We got that midpoint last week. We talked about why that was important and how that could already point to an upside target ahead. Mentioned that the best case scenario would be a push back down. Can we get a drop into this zone? Because then we could see a nice continuation up. But you can see this market was done after about a 3-day pullback, and that was pretty much it. Very, very bullish right here, with a continuation likely up toward that 34.32. Any pullback could still be a buying opportunity until that target is reached. Looking at gold, let's look at the YM. All right, here's a look at the YM. The YM right now, 3-day compression here. You can see down here, 3-day range, 28% of average, 976. Whereas the last few weeks here, we've been seeing 3-day ranges north of 4,000 points. So this is tremendous compression right here after all that volatility. Expecting more of the same. We could see an edge play, maybe down here and bounce back. Could get up here and drop back in. But for the most part, anticipating a 4-day compression here into the weekend, unless Fed Chair Powell provides some big-time headline risk. All right, taking a look here at Bitcoin. You'll see Bitcoin right now continues to show some strength here after bouncing tremendously off that 75K area. Double bottom there, big-time day one rejection here. Still in the range, holding above the 8 period. 3-day compression still in play. So kind of digesting that recent move. Still in the downtrend right now, but again, that rejection was exactly what you wanted to see in that area to try and get prices going back to the upside. Any pullback may continue to be a buying opportunity as this market attempts to return back toward value at around the 92K level. So right now, compression on a 3-day range basis. ETH, this one down. This one down right now, 1.8%. But is still up off of that kind of mild day one rejection. Compared to the other markets, that was much more mild. Big day percentage-wise, but it did bounce off of our 1400 level. That was the only time we hit 1400, getting as low as 1387 here. And as we dropped into that level, we kept mentioning 1400 could provide a double down the road to 2800, a high probability double at some point, with a shot to triple up to the highs of the year near 4200. So again, big time potential off this level. Still in a downtrend, as we mentioned before, but that's a great strong day one rejection to work from. Maybe we get a lower low failure or a retest, but again, can we start to turn the tide? Can this thing start pushing back above the 1700 level? All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out here heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.